If you're trying to go to Tony's Pub and Sub tonight, you're gonna meet a locked door. Elon campus police say it's obvious. If you don't want your car broken into, make sure to always lock your doors, hide your valuables. People are watching, they're dedicated to this broadcast. It's all they can focus on right now. And again, the crowds are just growing. As you can see behind me, there is heavy police presence. Concern is that this car is going to blow up soon. It's an entire limousine that was set on fire. This might throw off the scammer, so you have more time to see if it's legit. And if that doesn't work, your next call is the police. Elon campus wreck is trying to spread body positivity. The key thing we'll see in court today is surveillance video. Off of Highway 87, on top of a 40-foot pole, flies a Confederate flag. Hundreds gathered at the event organized by local Alamance County group Act Back, which stands for Alamance County Taking Back Alamance County. But recently, the Southern Poverty Law Center listed Act Back as a neo-Confederate hate group.
This group, Act Back, showed up at events, harassed citizens, flying flags where they don't need to be.
The SPLC defines a hate group as a group who has beliefs or practices that attack or malign an entire class of people. Elon professor Megan Squire collected data on Act Back to help the SPLC identify the group. On Act Back's Facebook, they joke about hunting terrorists, write anti-gay propaganda, protest Muslim refugees in Alamance County, and share anti-Islam memes. Luke Allen, who identifies as a friend of Act Back but not a member, says the organization does not represent hate.
People want to make it about a race thing, and it's not about a race thing at all. We don't look at it like that. It's about part of our history.
In an email statement to Elon News Network, Gary Williamson, the founder of Act Back, says the organization is about protecting their culture and does not have hateful or racist views. In response to the Facebook post, Williams said in another statement that the organization has made strides since then, and as long as people are willing to listen and work together, then so are we. But Squire still believes that the Confederate flag is a hate symbol from the shadows of history.
I guess I'm probably not going to change any opinions, but at least I can educate the community about what's happening and make them feel that they're not alone, that someone else out here does not like that flag either, and we're not going to sit idly by.
Paige Peroso, Elon Local News.
A couple of weeks ago, it was 70, 75, 80. We had strawberries everywhere. You know, and people wanted to pick, and we let people pick. And then all of a sudden, bam, what we got? Cold weather.
Cold is right. Low temperatures are barely reaching 20 degrees overnight, and springtime produce like berries and peaches are in danger. Johnny Slade, the foreman at Isley Farms, says they're working hard to salvage the farm's strawberries.
We hope we're going to save, we might not save all of them, but we'll save most of them.
Slade and his team covered the strawberries with 2 warming sheets, trying to raise the fruit's temperature by at least 20 degrees. But peaches are the main concern at Buttermilk Creek Farm. And this time, it's not just the cold.
But this year we're going to lose all the crop because of this wind.
Farms like Buttermilk Creek use special irrigation systems like this one seen here to keep the plants from freezing overnight. But with winds like these, the plants don't stand a chance.
We aren't going to have any, I'll be surprised if we have any peaches at all this year.
But most farmers agree, the fickle weather is just a day in the life.
You can't prepare for it. We just wait and listen, wait for the weatherman.
Protests in the city have been ongoing ever since. Elon News Network sent a team down to Charlotte last night, and what first were peaceful protests soon turned to chaos and another shooting. The night started off peaceful in uptown Charlotte.
Because we're all God's children, so all lives matter is why I'm here tonight, and I want to support that.
Signs were raised and candles were lit to remember Keith Lamont Scott, the black man who was shot and killed by Charlotte police officer Brentley Vinson on Tuesday. Vinson, a black officer, is suspended on paid administrative leave. Hundreds of members of the Charlotte community came to take part in the conversation on the second night of protests.
But it's going to take meetings, it's going to take people being open-minded, having conversations, serious conversations with things being said that may not want to be said.
This isn't our struggle, but it is our fight.
And although the beginning of the night was hopeful,
I feel great seeing people come together because people think that we can't come together without being violent, without rioting, without stealing, without looting and those types of things, and it's great to see this.
the protests quickly escalated.
I'm sick of the police shooting us for no reason.
The protests taking place in Marshall Park soon were on the move, marching down East 3rd Street. The protesters blocked traffic, with some even laying down in the street. But protesters in other parts of Charlotte were seen damaging buildings' windows, parked cars, and even starting fires. According to local officials, one man was shot and taken to the hospital last night and is in critical condition. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory responded by declaring a state of emergency and calling in the North Carolina National Guard to assist local police. Protests are expected to continue tonight. It's been over 60 years since Gertrude Moore Johnston rode a bike. Now she gets the chance to do it again.
I loved it.
Blakey Hall is an assisted living center about 2 minutes away from Elon's campus that cares for 50 residents. And now those residents have a new way to feel the wind in their hair.
And they just were very excited about it. Brings back good memories.
Blakey Hall now owns one duet bike thanks to Elon professor Jeannie Duval and a donor grant. The grant's purpose was to connect one generation to the next. Judy Simpson, activities director for Blakey Hall, says the bike is doing just that.
They love youthfulness coming through the door.
The bike, though, is not just for fun. It actually helps older residents with their attitude and their memory.
I used to have a boyfriend that would come to see me on a bike. And then we would ride bikes around the neighborhood.
But the bike isn't their favorite part. It's the time spent with Elon students.
You all make our day.
And for the residents who grew up with the song A Bicycle Made for Two,
it won't be a stylish marriage.
It now has a whole new meaning.
A bicycle built for two.
Paige Peroso, Elon Local News. Some local residents get to work via car or even bikes, but others in the Burlington area don't have those options.
I guess how we'll walk.
The Link Transit system, which opened this summer, connects different hubs in Burlington together for the first time using public transportation.
I use it because I need the transportation to get where I need to go, like finding jobs and going shopping.
They also use Link for school, errands, and interviews.
Now we're about to go help her put in this application for KFC.
I had to go see about an apartment.
Before the Link system, people had to rely on a friend or even walk, which made some people unable to go to work.
It's much better than having to walk an hour 30, maybe 2 hours, from here to there just to get, to your destination.
There are still some issues, specifically with the bus schedule.
It should be expanded at least to the Mebane area because there is a lot of unemployment around here and a lot of that could be solved if the transit went to Mebane.
I think they should be on the weekends so people can get to work and back.
Burlington Transportation Manager Mike Nunn was unavailable for an interview, but did write in an email that the expansion of the Link bus system will depend on consistent ridership over time and the available budget approved by City Council.
It wasn't a shock to us either that someone would do that, especially within North Carolina.
These words and symbols, some too offensive to show on air, were found on a bathroom wall during the historically black fraternity Alpha Phi Alpha's statewide convention this past weekend.
It was in the bathroom right next to our main, the main ballroom, which was where we had most of our business meetings. So it was blatantly placed like right next to us. It's kind of rough to see.
A brother posted a picture of what happened on Facebook, and it's since been shared over 1,000 times. C believes the strong reaction might be due to recent election results.
The people who stand for that have been here. Trump's just made it so that they can sort of come out of their little corner, out of their little, wherever they've been hiding, and given them voice.
According to the Sheraton Hotel, which operates the Corey Convention Center, the graffiti was cleaned off the wall within minutes of staff knowing about it. The Sheraton Hotel said in a statement that the hotel sharply condemns this act of hatred and will do all that we can do to ensure it does not happen again. The hotel is investigating the incident further. But the brothers of the Elon chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha did not let this incident bring them down.
We just use it as more something to empower us to keep doing the business that we're doing, because we are trying to uplift the communities around the area within the United States.
Paige Peroso, ELN Morning. Your phone rings. It's an unusual number and someone you don't know on the other end of the line asking for money.
Hello, we have been trying to reach you.
This is what is known as a phone scam, and those scammers are targeting Elon students.
I checked the voicemail, and it was like this lady talking, and it was like, you are going to be sued by the IRS unless you talk to us immediately. And they gave me a phone number to call them, and I freaked out.
The reason of this call is to inform you that IRS is filing a lawsuit against you.
You know, you go for younger or elderly, I guess, victims because sometimes they're more trusting. They don't always check the facts.
But instead of calling back, Brown made a different phone call.
I called my dad, and I was like, did something happen? Why am I getting this phone call? And he was like, oh, that is a straight up scam.
So what if this happens to you? Well, the first step is to question the caller, ask to speak to the supervisor, or maybe even a phone number to call back later. This might throw off the scammer, so you have more time to see if it's legit. And if that doesn't work, your next call is the police.
Call the police. We'll definitely talk to you. We'll run the numbers. We'll start an investigation and see where we can go. At least maybe we can identify these folks before you're actually out any money.
And it's important to remember that scammers will try to get money and personal information via your email account too. What you see here is a common scam being sent to Elon students right now. Paige Peroso, Elon Local News.